Welcome back to the Motor Index, folks. Well, it is officially Talladega week. Hope everybody had an amazing Easter break. I know all the guys in the Cup Series did, a bunch of them over at WWE, doing all sorts of stuff during their off week. But we are back, ready to roll, heading to one of the most exciting and most intimidating racetracks on the schedule, Talladega Superspeedway. Super excited for this race. I will actually be there in person covering this for the Racing Experts. Go check out our coverage at theracingexperts.com. But anyways, let's get into some storylines heading in. So a lot of people are talking about the Super Speedway package. Is it entertaining? Is it not? How do we fix it? I actually think it's kind of a little underrated. I think people overanalyze it a little bit, and I do understand that with the 3-4 wide racing that we've become accustomed to see at Talladega, that it's more eye candy than it is actually entertaining racing, which I do agree to some extent. But I still do think that the super speedway package is just a little bit overhated. But I mean, yeah, I don't really know what the fix is, honestly. But I think just the one thing I really want to see is less crashing, which it's tough to ask for that on these types of tracks. But I feel like the crashing has gotten a little much in the past few races here. I mean, last time we were at Talladega, I think it was the biggest wreck ever with 28 cars. Let's avoid that this time. I think that would be a good thing. But besides the point, yeah, that's a big topic of conversation. Another one is just the winners this year have been really interesting. There is a very realistic scenario where you only have like two or three winners this season so far. You do get your William Byron at the Daytona 500. You get your Josh Berry at Las Vegas. But other than that, it's been three straight from Christopher Bell prior to Las Vegas, and then after Las Vegas, it's been Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson. The 5 and the 11 have won the last four races. So to put that into perspective, and you could even look back at those ones that those other two winners, Byron and Barry. You can make a really good argument that Kyle Larson probably should have won that Vegas race, and you could make a really good argument that Denny Hamlin should have won the Daytona 500. So in all actuality, there is a very realistic scenario where we only have three winners to this point. So it's pretty crazy. But yeah, so it's really interesting how the season's shaping up. It's a lot different than seasons past where it felt like the first like 10 weeks we had like 8 or 9 different winners. Not the case this year. It feels like there is a definitive pack separating themselves from the rest in terms of just winners in general. So very interesting to watch. And after this video, I'm going to record my standings report, so go watch that as well. But Talladega is obviously a huge opportunity for everybody on the racetrack to win. And like some drivers will argue, not anybody can win at these types of tracks. But with how big the crashes can be, I personally feel like anybody's in the mix on the racetrack, and that is a big opportunity for anybody who may be close to the bubble or the playoff bubble, or maybe even requires a win to even get in, cannot point their way in. This is a racetrack they all have circled as a way they can sneak their way into the playoffs. And we've seen it in recent years. I mean, look at just the last race. Ricky Stenhouse, I know, was in the playoffs, and he was not a playoff driver, but it just kind of proves the point that, Ricky Stenhouse, not a guy you think of every single week to be leading laps and in contention for wins, goes out and wins that race last fall in Talladega. So who knows where what we'll get here at Talladega. But I think it's a big race for a lot of drivers. And if one of these guys who've already won this season, like a Bell, Hamlin, or a Larson, find their way to victory lane this weekend, I mean, I think it really just goes to, I think that really will show where this season's heading, as I think it'll be a 3 or 4 car battle for the championship as the season progresses. But I do think there will be a new winner personally. I do have a new winner circled or as my pick, and I guess let's just get into that pick. I'm going with Ryan Blaney. Obviously, he's won here, I believe, 3 different times, And I honestly just think he's ran so good so throughout this whole season. It's been just one issue after another that have derailed some potential win opportunities. I think Ryan Blaney gets it done. Just look at Penske as a whole, and I have down here as drivers who I think will be in the mix. Penske as a whole, Cindric, Logano. You could even throw Barry into that mix as the de facto fourth Penske car. Um, all of those cars I expect to be competitive. They've really ran the show at these super speedways. Really got to watch out for those guys. But I'm going with Ryan Blaney. I think he gets his first win of the season. I think he's got multiple wins in him this season, and I think this will be his first. And like I said, let's get into some other cars who I think will be in the mix. Obviously, I already said Penske with Logano and Cindric and even Barry in that mix. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, two guys who would have been up front at the end of the Daytona 500 had both of them not gotten wrecked. So I do think both those guys would be in the mix. Bell's not a guy you would necessarily think of as one of these heavy hitters at the super speedways, but it's not a guy you think of. But when you go back and look at the stats, he's really started to stack up some of these good finishes or good runs at these super speedways, even if he's getting wrecked. He found himself in position to win some of these races. So look out for those two guys from Joe Gibbs Racing. Chase Elliott's won here, I think, at least once, if not multiple times. So, and Chase Elliott's another guy who could really use a win. Some good opportunities even coming up for him to get a win, but I think he will be in the mix, absolutely. Running that Amazon Prime paint scheme with Amazon Prime coming up on the schedule as far as the broadcasting is concerned. So look for Chase Elliott to have a really big weekend. I think he will be in the mix. William Byron, another guy who we talk about, who kind of like Christopher Bell, not one of those guys you think of at these super speedways, but then you go really break it down, and it's like he's always in the mix for the win at the front of the field when it matters. I mean, won the last two Daytona 500s. I'm forgetting if he's won. He's won obviously at the new Atlanta. I don't remember if he's ever won it at Talladega, but it wouldn't shock me if he has. But and then as far as my real playoff contending drivers who I think will be in the mix, I think Ross Chastain certainly will have a say in this. Won here before at Talladega. Typically one of those guys you do think of at these super speedways to be in the mix. And yeah, I think this would be a huge opportunity. I don't know if he'll need a win to get into the playoffs. I don't think he will need a win, but certainly would go a long way towards, calming some nerves there at Trackhouse Racing, because it has been a little tumultuous there for the past couple weeks and really this whole season. So, but let's get into some sleepers here. I think Todd Gilliland, one of the best super speedway drivers in the field, very much could steal a win here and get his way into the playoffs. Michael McDowell, same exact thing, was wrecked last year trying to race for the win and wasn't able to get it done, but is really, really good at these super speedways. No doubt could steal a win here. Ricky Stenhouse, like I mentioned earlier, won the last race at Talladega. Pretty shocking win there. I do think he has a great shot. We all know how good he is on the super speedways. Noah Gregson's one I would keep an eye on. Was running really well in both the super speedway races this year. Has just really shown speed overall. I mean, just look at Homestead, that qualifying effort. I think he qualified in the top 5. Hell, maybe might have been the top 3. Excuse me. But yeah, Noah Gregson's is the type of guy who I kind of look at as one of these guys who's really had a lot of speed, but nobody's talking about, because those finishes have not been, in the top 10 as consistently as you'd want to see. But that does not mean that car is not ran up front and contended at times this season. So, and then my last one, as far as my picks are concerned, I got Eric Jones. I mean, there's been several times he's been really close here. He may have won here before. I'm sorry, I should know that. But yeah, Eric Jones, we all know he's one of the guys to look out for as far as the super speedway sleepers. And yeah, I think it would be a huge victory for Legacy Motor Club. They've shown just more speed overall this year. Just haven't gotten the finishes you'd like to see, but more on a consistent basis. They've had a few decent runs, but so those guys are kind of the sleepers I'm expecting. And like I said, I think Ryan Blaney gets it done, but at Talladega, anything can happen at any given moment. So We will see. A little bit of weather report. I'm flying across the country to go to this. I am on my knees. Do not rain on Sunday. Don't rain. I'm praying to God. But it does look like there is a chance, and if the weather forecast holds up, as you see here on the screen, it says 20% chance of rain. It is not saying it's supposed to rain on Sunday. Saturday, as you see there, it says 35%, and then Friday for ARCA and Cup or ARCA and Xfinity practice, 50% chance. It does look like it's going to probably rain on Friday and Saturday. How much will it rain? I don't know, but I do think at the end of the day, just keep Sunday clear and we'll be fine. All right, I'm begging you, please. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And like I said, I will be at Talladega, so keep an eye out for some of my coverage from there. Maybe I'll do a vlog or something. I've been throwing around some ideas for something kind of like that. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Take care and God bless.